Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the first tips episode of the year. I hope you had a safe new year, and I wish you all the best for 2025. My apologies for not getting this out yesterday. In the simplest terms, I ran into a technical difficulty that I was not able to resolve since I wasn't home. So again, my apologies. For this episode, we're hitting on something that cuts across every stage of our transitions. Do you ever find yourself scrolling through social media? You see your friends, maybe a coworker, or the worst one, a stranger. And let's be real, you might follow them, but you don't really know them, and you're not really friends with them. But whoever they are, they seem to be crushing it, whatever crushing it is to you. And then you find yourself thinking, why don't I have it all figured out yet? Or maybe you're wondering, how do they make it look so effortless? While you're still trying to define what success or what crushing it means to you. We've all been there. That little inner voice, that little inner critic. And let's be honest with ourselves, it's fueled by envy and jealousy. But regardless how you loaded it up, that can be a heavy weight to carry. So here's the thing. What if the best transition strategy isn't about catching up to anyone else? Maybe it's about stepping back, blocking out the noise, and focusing on the one thing you can control. So with that, let's get into round 52 of the Tactical Transition Tips. This time the topic is stop comparing yourself. For the close range group, those of you looking at your transition right away or within the next year, focus on personal goals. And for the medium range group, those of you looking to transition in, say, the next 5 years or so, benchmark only against yourself. And for the long range group, those of you with, at minimum, a decade ahead of you, maybe you're just starting your careers, focus on core values.
When you transition out, is try to model all of the good things, the discipline, the structure, that little bit of rigidity into your everyday life. And I think that that's a great way to make that transition happen, man.
Take the time to invest in yourself because it means everything. You know? That's what the difference is. The difference is not just to collect a check. It's to live 25 years, 30, 40 years after you retire and pay it forward that way.
Close range group, stop comparing yourself. Those of you who are on approach, you've stowed your tray tables, you've returned your seat backs to their upright position, and you're preparing to land at your transition. If you're in this phase, you probably feel like you're in a washing machine. You're trying to make sure everything is in place. It's a time of big, but also a lot of decisions. And you can admit it, there's some anxiety coming along for the ride. But let me tell you this. It's not just about getting it all done. It's about getting it done right. And the key to that is focusing on personal goals. Forget the noise around you. Forget what others are doing. It's time to define what success means for you. I'm not saying don't use other people as inspirations. If you see someone and in your opinion, they're succeeding or they're doing what you want to do, then yes, use them as a model for motivation. However, if you don't immediately match them, don't think that you're failing or that you're a failure. Like I said before, you might not know their story. You might not know how long it's taken them to get where they are. So stay on your path and your goals will come at their time. So what does focusing on personal goals really mean? It starts with self-reflection. It starts with looking inside yourself and asking yourself these questions. What excites you about your transition? Is it the chance to explore something new? Is it spending more time with your family? Or is it simply just making a fresh start? You need to find the positive in your transition. Then, equally important though, ask yourself, what worries you the most? You need to understand what scares you. Is it money? Is it the emotional pressure of feeling like you're losing your identity? Is it a logistical fear? I want to live here, wherever here is, but is there work for me there? Accepting these concerns and fears helps you address them head on. Then ask yourself, what do I need to let go of? And this is important. Are you holding on to expectations from your current career? Do you have unrealistic expectations of your next career? Are you using other people's definitions of what success is or what success looks like? These questions aren't just mental exercises. They're the building blocks of your transition playbook. A good tool or a practice that you can use is called goal mapping. If you want to do your own research on it, it's actually called goal mapping framework. Think of this as your blueprint for navigating the transition process. This gives you structure to your goals, and it ensures you stay aligned with what truly matters to you. So how do you start this? Well, first you need to divide your life into key areas. On a piece of paper or a Word document, I don't care what you use. Create 4 sections. Label each of them career, finances, relationships, and personal growth. These are the core aspects of your transition. And you ask yourself, well, why these? Because your transition shouldn't be about just finding a job. It needs to be about building balanced and a fulfilling life outside of just a job. Then, under each section, write down a few specific actionable goals. Under careers, you could write, apply to 3 positions in the career or job that you want each week. Or maybe aim to complete a certification course in something that grows your skill set and builds your resume for the next career that you want. Under finances, create a monthly budget to manage your transition expenses, or maybe save 3 months worth of living expenses before that day, that your transition day comes. Under relationships, you can put spend more time with my family, or maybe it's reconnect with somebody who was a former coworker or a mentor. Under your personal growth, maybe you want to work out to keep and help reducing the stress that's inevitably going to come from transitioning. Another one you could think of, and I think this is a good one, read 1 book per month. Something about transitioning or about people who have made transitioning steps towards careers that interest you. Then what you do is turn those goals into actionable steps. For example, if your career goal is to land a job as a project manager, your actionable steps might be research certifications or enroll in a course that benefits that. Rewrite your resume to emphasize the applicable skills that you have for that position. Make connections with people in project management roles and get their advice and get their input on the jobs. Bottom line though, the purpose of this isn't to just make a list. It's something that gives you clarity and purpose. By identifying your priorities in each of these areas, what you're doing is you're eliminating the pressure of trying to do everything at once, or worst, at the last minute. You can focus your energy where it's most needed and meaningful. Remember, this isn't a static document. It's not a fire and forget. At the end of each month, review your progress. Celebrate what you've achieved. Give yourself that win, but then make adjustments where you need to. Maybe a goal no longer feels aligned with where you want to end up. Maybe a new opportunity has popped up, or even more, maybe your priorities change. Whatever it might be, adapt and keep making progress. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do have to keep moving forward. Something else you're going to likely experience is comparison paralysis. It sounds like a big fancy word, but basically, you see someone who seems to have the perfect job, the perfect house, the perfect whatever it is they have. And then you think to yourself, why am I not there yet? Well, the reality is comparison is the thief of joy. Remember, like I said before, social media And professional profiles are just snapshots and highlight reels. Rarely are they ever the behind the scenes footage. And you don't know what their struggles were or are to get to that point. Your personal narrative needs to change. It needs to go from what do I lack to what do I have to offer. What you want to do is keep that inner voice talking positively, not negatively. When you consider what you have to offer, think of the following. What are your visible strengths? The skills that people can see on the surface. Leadership, technical skills and abilities, the degrees, the certificates, the credentials that you can show them on paper. Then, what are your hidden strengths? The qualities that somebody can't see on the surface or can't immediately recognize, but they're critical to your success. Things like your resilience, your ability to adapt, especially during stressful situations, or your ability to work in a variety of environments or teams. Then, what's very important are what are your personal strengths? These areas are the ones that you're developing. Maybe it's a new skill that you're learning. Maybe it's a hobby that could potentially become a side hustle or your primary. Something else that you need to make sure that you do is set boundaries against negative influences. This might mean scaling back the time you spend with people who doubt your choices, are not encouraging you. Think of your mental energy as a budget. If you spend a lot of energy on negative thoughts, you won't have enough for what really matters. So always remember, the life you're building is yours, not anyone else. What powers you through your day? If you're like me, coffee's at the top of that list. So take your coffee to a new level with Trident Coffee, a veteran-owned brand that's redefining your coffee experience. Cold brew experts, their instant cold brew is a game changer. And though they roast their beans to excel as a cold brew, trust me, their coffee tastes just as amazing hot. Trident Coffee is also committed to your wellness, with ingredients like organic mushrooms, adaptogens, and nootropics to help boost your focus and support your immunity. It's made for those who enjoy good coffee and value quality and health. Whether you're looking for that perfect, refreshing cold brew or a smooth cup of hot coffee to fuel your day, Trident Coffee has you covered. Head over to tridentcoffee.com and use the promo code TDP15 for 15% off your order. That's TDP15 for 15% off your order. Medium Range Group. You are your benchmark. These next few years are about change. You need to be focused on making yourself the best version of you. This isn't built by looking at what others are doing. It's built by looking inward, reflecting on your own journey, and then growing from where you're at today. Comparison, when it's done with negativity, isn't just unhelpful. It's unfair to yourself. When you compare your project or your progress to someone else's, you're measuring yourself against their journey, not yours. They have different circumstances, different experiences, and likely different goals. Try this shift in thinking. Instead of asking, am I where I should be? Ask, am I where I want to be? You see the difference? One's about external validation. Who or what defines should, or is should based on your peers and where they're at, or is should based on where your family feels you should be at? However, on the other hand, where I want to be is about personal alignment. And when you focus on personal alignment, that's where your growth happens. So how do you kick off this inward journey? One thing you can do is gratitude. It's easy to look ahead and see a mountain of things you still need to do. But what you should do is stop and reflect on what you've already accomplished. Think about all the challenges you've overcome in your career. What skills have you gained since you came on the job? What personal strengths have you developed? Gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise. It's actually a shift in your perspective. When you focus on what you have, instead of what you lack, you build confidence. And confidence is the fuel that drives your personal progress. If you need some more validation of your progress, do a gratitude ladder. Take an afternoon and look back on your career. For each year that you've worked, think about what you did and what you learned. Then from each of those years, write down one thing you're proud of. And by the time you get to today, you'll have a tangible record of your growth. And then you can look back on that list and you'll realize, wow, I've come pretty far. And you've already climbed a long way up that ladder. Then going forward, not just to, but beyond your transition. That's your benchmark. When you need a highlight reel, your own personal highlight reel, measure against your own track record. Something else you can do is develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. This means understanding not just your strengths, but also your values and your priorities. Then as you approach your transition and move on into the next phase of your life, let your values and your priorities guide you. Write your transition mission statement. This doesn't mean the jobs or titles you're looking to achieve. It's about the kind of life you want to build. For example, a mission statement could be, I want to transition into a career that challenges me, aligns with my desire to solve problems, and gives me time to prioritize my family. It's just an example that I came up with. But what you're aiming for is to make decisions that align with your deeper self, not what others expect or what you think others expect of you. A great habit you can start today is reflective journaling. You might think that it's just not for you. Man, I'm not somebody who wants to journal or write things down. And you might be right, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work, or more importantly, that it's not beneficial for you. So really consider it. Take some alone time each week and write down, what did I accomplish this week that I'm proud of? Where did I feel challenged and what did I learn from it? What's one thing I'm grateful for this week? A habit like this is about tracking the small, steady steps you're taking towards your goals. And then over time, these journal entries show a pattern of progress that's yours, not anybody else's. Another thing we all need to be better about is personal accountability. You're your own coach. You're the one setting the pace for your goals. And you're the one setting the waypoints that you need to achieve. But here's the thing. Being your own coach also means being both kind and firm with yourself. When you're accomplishing something, give yourself the credit you deserve. Give yourself that proverbial pat on the back. However, if you get off track or if you start procrastinating, you have to hold yourself accountable. You don't have to beat yourself up, but instead ask yourself, what can I do to learn from this? Shifting from self-criticism to self-curiosity makes you more resilient. You want to strive for perfection. We all do. But it's more about, are you better than you were yesterday? Don't get fixated too far ahead. Growth is not about a few big wins. It's about a lot of small wins. Acknowledge each step you take. They're the proof that you're moving forward. And before you know it, the miles will come. But you need to stay motivated because progress isn't about reaching a destination. It's growing the person you'll be when you get there. You ever feel like your body just isn't keeping up the way it used to? We all know that life doesn't slow down, and sometimes the grind shows up in ways that we might not expect. Lower energy, focus that's a little off, maybe even motivation that isn't quite there. Human Performance TRT knows what it's like to want to get that edge back, and they're here to help you do it without the runaround. A veteran and first responder-owned company, they're not just your typical telehealth service that just hands out prescriptions. Human Performance takes a full view of your health. First, you hop on a video call with one of their expert providers who goes through your goals, your blood work, and any specific needs you've got. From there, they create a personalized plan that goes beyond just hormones. If you need support with mental health, they've got it. If you're looking to get serious about weight management, they can coach you through it. The best part, they keep it flexible. No locked-in subscriptions. As you progress, they're checking in, making adjustments, and keeping your health plan up to date. Because what works today might look different down the line. Everything they do is sent right to your door, hassle-free, so you can stay focused on the things that matter. And here's another benefit. If you're already on a hormone replacement program or have recent blood work, Human Performance makes it easy to transition. If your lab results are less than 6 months old, you could submit those directly. No need for new blood work. They'll review your current levels and build a customized plan based on where you're at now, so you don't have to start from scratch. It's just another way that Human Performance puts you first, meeting you where you're at on your health journey. Human Performance TRT is built around your success. This isn't a one-and-done approach. It's ongoing with real guidance because your health deserves more than just a quick fix. If you're ready to take the next step towards optimized health, check out Human Performance and see what a real personalized approach looks like. And for listeners of the Transition Drill podcast, use the promo code TDP for 10% off throughout the entire time you work with Human Performance. So head over to hptrt.com and remember to use the promo code TDP, that's Tom David Paul, for 10% off your program. Long Range Group. Focus on core values. With the miles ahead of you, invest in the most important asset you have, which is you. But why should you focus on core values? Because they should be the foundation of every decision you'll make. But not just in your career, in your personal life also. Building a career based on your values, you aren't just preparing for your eventual transition. You're creating a whole life around purpose and fulfillment. Start by defining your core values. For some of you, service might be at the top of that list. For others, it's growth, advancement, being innovative. But I can't stress this one enough. Family should actually be at the top of your list. It's just my opinion. Now, your values aren't something that you'll find in a guide or a manual. They're already part of you. What you need to do, though, is identify them and make them the compass for your journey. Think about moments in your life, those times when you were most proud, the most fulfilled. What were you doing? Who was with you? What values were being displayed by you or by somebody else? Was it integrity? Was it compassion? Maybe it was personal growth, or was it teamwork? Whatever they were, these are the guideposts for the path that you want to build. So once you've identified your values, the next step is weave them into your career decisions. Let's say family is a core value for you. As you progress through your career, you might want to prioritize roles that allow for a better work-life balance. Or maybe your advancement is a key value. Then focus on positions that challenge you and offer learning opportunities. Something else to think about. Core values aren't just about what you do. They're about how you do it. Let's say integrity is one of your values. How does that show up in your day-to-day? Are you leading with honesty? Are you holding yourself accountable? Living your values in the present builds the habits and the repetition that will carry you through your career, through your transition, and then beyond. Another critical piece of this journey is explore diverse opportunities. The person you are today is just the starting point. Use the remainder of your career to stretch yourself. Volunteer for projects and assignments that'll take you outside of your comfort zone. Also, don't overlook the importance of mentors. But here's the key. Seek out mentors who share your values, not just your career interests. These mentors can offer more than just career advice. They can offer life advice, helping you navigate your career and life decisions, all while helping you stay true to who you are. Something else that's really important is, like putting family high on your list, if it's not the highest, find the balance between personal and professional values. I get it. Your career is important. But remember, it's not everything. At the end of the day, these are just jobs. When we're gone, we're forgotten. And as important it is to grow your career, don't forget to make time to invest in not only your personal life, invest in your family, invest in your health, invest in your hobbies and your passions that take you away from these jobs. Strive to be the same person both at work and at home. Use these miles ahead of you, these years ahead of you, however you want to look at it, to align your life with your career, along with aligning with your values. And remember, the most fulfilling careers aren't defined by titles or salaries. They're defined by a foundation of purpose. All right, let's put a bow on this. Close range group. Focus on personal goals. If you're going to compare, be positive about what you have, not what you don't. Medium range group. Benchmark only against yourself. Your transition journey is about becoming the best version of you, not somebody else. Long range group. Focus on core values. Set the rules on what defines you, live your life by them, and let them guide your career. As always, thank you for listening or watching the episode. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to reach out. Send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to follow the podcast and please leave a rating. Also, please share it with anyone you think could benefit and enjoy it. And until next time, remember, that life that you're looking for, just like your transition, it's not a race, but a journey. With every opportunity comes the chance to rediscover who you are and what you're capable of. Stop comparing yourself.